All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Liz Garcia. I am founder of the Mind, Body, Spirit Network, and I help pioneering solopreneurs, visionary leaders and teachers and speakers, and luminary healers, agents of change, and transformation coaches reimagine and up-level their online marketing efforts. So you don't have to go it alone. So many people try to go it alone and they fail miserably because it's not in their heart of hearts to do online marketing. So I've created this community so that I can help you guys leverage the power of community and up-level your presence and visibility and branding and everything without having to spend a whole lot of money. You got to spend some money, but not that what you would spend to go one-on-one with like Marie Forleo, for example. All right. So today is open forum Q&A. Any questions you have about online marketing, your business in general, whatever. I owned a restaurant in a resort island on Nantucket for 15. I was there for 15 years. I had a retail home furnishing store in Boston for 12 years. I've done a lot and been a lot and done a lot of things to run those businesses. So anything, I think I could probably answer a lot of questions, but I invite all of you to share your wisdom as well and kind of treat this like a mastermind. So who's up? Who wants to start? Deborah.
I am just, I don't even know how to couch this. You know, I've started this weekly meditation, and there's a couple issues that I found. My list is growing, you know, and there's 63 people on the list, which, you know, is actually lower than what I expected. So I don't know if my expectations are realistic. But then I have this list of 63 people, and then only 1 or 2 people will participate. So then I'm wondering how to determine if this is a viable activity for my time or for my business, because to me, that's a lot of time to be set aside in my day and my life and every week for, and you know, and with my group, several of them are my friends and they're doing that to support me.
Right.
And so, you know, how do I get feedback if this is, you know, a good thing to continue with?
Okay. First of all, I don't know that you've given it enough time. Like even, you know, energetically, that's not a lot of people to connect with yet, right?
Right.
And I'm finding for myself, energetically, you've got to build that energetic connection, that foundation. You got to build a foundation of confidence, loving what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And understanding how you create. I'm going a little bit higher here because I'm there. I'm at the higher, I'm thinking bigger. I'm looking more, I'm getting more real about who's the creator here, right? And I'm taking responsibility for my own creation. And I was told during a very difficult experience that I created it. And there was no denying it. So I want to take the extreme and say, you know what? I created something horrific in my life on numerous occasions. Horrific. I'm talking really bad. And yet higher guidance was coming in and said, Liz, you're the creator. I'm like, okay, well, crap. I got to stop doing this. This is going to kill me. Literally, I'm going to die if I have to do this, if I do this again. So I want to pull back and make it, this is simple. You're creating something beautiful, Deborah. And I was thinking about you this morning, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm doing the same thing. Okay, I have like 200 people in the meetup group and 1,000 people on my list, and I'm still, you know, not getting as much response as I had thought. But, you know, you got to look at the numbers and I got to look at me. What am I, you know, what's going on with me? There's something little going on with me. Totally. So for you, Deborah, this is the question I was going to ask. You love teaching people about meditation, right?
I do.
Okay. Are you having fun during the classes?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd say I am.
What if I said, forget about, let's say it's $500 a month you're spending to have fun and learn something new.
I spend that at Dave and Buster's.
That was going to be another question. I'm like, where else would you spend that much money?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I look at it myself. I'm like, I could spend $500 a month on food I don't need. Going to restaurants. Easily. There's 5 nights of going out to dinner with my friends. So I want you to take a different perspective. And I want you to understand you're just beginning. And you're not fully confident in what you're doing. You've even said it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay? This is like a cheap party you're throwing yourself every week. And the more fun you have with it, the more people are going to show up. Plus, you're really good at what you do when you're having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at the videos that you created for the free guided meditation and the thank you page and the final one, like each one of them is so light and fun. And I'm like, oh my God, you hit it. You're in the zone when you did that. And I want you to stay in the zone with this. And you don't have to stay with it. But it's a cheap way to gain confidence and figure out what you want.
Okay.
You
and so I
want you to go with how you feel, but I want to give you a different perspective because it's not a lot of money to spend on a business at all. And I'm going to go back to my retail example. Okay. How was I going to get visibility when I owned a store? I didn't want to be on some side street. Right? And then I would have to pay for I'd have to pay for newspaper ads at the time, magazine. I said, hell no, I want to be in downtown Boston in the thick of things. That's how I was going to get visibility. And I was willing to pay $4,000 a month to do it. That's $50,000 a year. I got visibility, a lot of it, but I didn't have enough. I didn't feel like I had enough. So I spent another $5,000 a month on advertising, which was not highly targeted. We're in a whole new day and age. You are freaking highly targeted at what you're wanting to do right now, Deborah, and I want you to just feel your way into it. And if we change the target audience, you're going to change your energy about it, and we're going to attract someone new. But looking at your stats right now, your Facebook ads are running at a 10 for relevancy, meaning people are responding, thumbs up, they're sharing, they're liking, they're getting, you're dead on. Yeah. Okay? Your MailChimp, your open rates and click-through rates are highly engaged. They're triple what average is. So you're doing A+, but you haven't begun.
Okay, yeah. I guess when I'm looking at that, I'm just not, I'm only looking at those numbers as success or failure and not sure what that number is that you're reaching, and it's not the numbers that I should be looking at, it's other things maybe.
It's how you feel.
Okay. Well, then I'll make sure I feel good.
Feel good and have fun.
And I really want my, the people that show up to feel good and have fun and find benefit.
Yeah, so
maybe I don't know how to gauge that.
So how can you invite in more corporate-like clients? That's the question.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to be backing up and creating that business model here in the near future.
Okay, so that's my advice to everybody here. I've spent a lot of money building businesses, and you got to be prepared. Like, I got to build a business, but the cost to build a business these days online is nothing relative to what it used to cost me to build a business. It's cheap, and it's freaking targeted. I'm going to say that again. It's freaking targeted. I see it with everyone that I'm working with right now. We couldn't ask for better. Couldn't ask for more, but we have to be able to convert on our ends, and we got to figure out energetically what's going on within us. That's my problem. I have that issue. I'm telling you right now. But it's definitely shifting for sure when I started this group. Okay? And I'm having fun, and I'm loving my community. I love everybody here. I'm not even kidding. That is in of itself is worth its weight in gold. Right? And it's fun to have somewhere to go and meet and be in community, especially when you're a solopreneur. All right. Did I answer your question, Deborah?
Absolutely. Thank you.
It wasn't specific, but it was a kind of a roundabout way that we have to address what's going on within each one of us and what's in the way of success. And I'm finding just having fun and being of service works for me. And I noticed that my consciousness is shifting because I understand what that consciousness level looks like. And I read it in my book verbatim. I'm like, oh, cool. I've jumped into this level on this topic. So that's another topic. I might cover the level of consciousness today too. All right. Next question.
So Liz, can you expand a little bit about what you said, what's happening within you? I mean, can you give an example of that?
Something energetically, and in fact, I woke up and I'm clairvoyant and clairaudient, clairsentient, and I'm a medium I'm unwitting medium. So I get a lot of messages. And I heard, you've got 2 blocks in the way. I'm like, okay. So something that would block you is anger and resentment. Okay. I'm angry and resentful that I put so much friggin' effort into what I do. I really am. I'm telling you the truth. And I'm going to cry, which is a good thing. Okay. That's the truth of the matter. But anger and resentment blocks everything. Okay. And that level of consciousness, there's no winning on that one.
But that can be released.
Yes, I know, but I want to just talk the truth here, though. I know it can be released, and I know how to work around it. And I can ease up around that by forgiving myself for being human. And I've actually felt the energy shift when I forgive myself for being human and not knowing any better, because I didn't know about consciousness and levels of consciousness. And I thought it was good to be angry, At a lower level, if you're in grief and sorrow, anger is good because you're getting into more power.
Right.
But in creative mode, in manifestation mode, it's very difficult to get what you want when you're angry and resentful. And I'm certainly not angry and resentful all the time anymore. But the experiences I created for myself, which were horrific and not of this world, helped to create the anger and resentment. So I have a different set of circumstances I'm working with, and I'm forgiving myself for not knowing that I had the power to create what I did. Like, crap, are you kidding me? I did that, and I accepted it when I heard it. I knew it. I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. Help me out of this. So anyway, I have all this anger and resentment from the trauma that I went through over 24 times. I've done this to myself, and it's horrific. So I'm understanding, like, oh, Liz, you got to forgive yourself for creating this in the first place. And I love who I am. I do. And I enjoy myself thoroughly. So there's just these trails of stuff. You gotta look at it. You got to say, all right, I'm willing to look at stuff right now. And that's what you got to do for yourself. Why would I block prosperity? The only reason you block prosperity is you think very little of yourself in some regard. Consciousness is bringing you what you feel you deserve. That's the truth. That's calibrated as truth. Okay. If you have a lot of lack in your experience, it's because you feel unworthy, and consciousness is just giving you what you feel, which isn't true. It's old crap. None of it's true. And you got to get those feelings up and out into the light of day. And that's what Linda and Marie and Kana, all you guys can do that for others and yourself. But sometimes you need a higher level of consciousness to get that. You cannot create from the level of consciousness that's lower. So,
Liz.
Did I answer your question, Marie?
Yes, thanks, Liz.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Linda.
You could test yourself if you hold the belief that it was a good decision to come into my body. If you test as a no, it was a good decision to come to this planet in this lifetime. Like, we can hold that beliefs, down right there at the beginning of everything. You might have a belief that the creator abandoned me, rejects me.
Right.
It goes not just within yourself, because you love yourself.
Right.
It goes further than that, right? So
Right.
these are things that you test for, and they can all be cleared.
Yeah. So it's important to note that something that significant, like what Linda just said, could calibrate as true within you, could be a big problem in creating the life that you want. If you have the belief that God is not on your side, which I absolutely did and did not believe, but I was like, you kidding me? God's going to put me up to this friggin' test? I definitely felt abandoned.
You could also resent God, and there's like many ways, many angles to look at it.
Yes, thank you, Linda. That's important. What Linda's saying and what she's doing is to help you. And I worked with Linda where we're testing the truth. It's like, okay, that was really surprising to me that is still true. All of us healer types, we're always wanting to work on ourselves and up level our level of consciousness. But then if you work with someone like Linda who tests these things, you find out, okay, I'm still running that program. It's important to know.
I'll add one more little thing about
Please
this.
do.
Is that, I do a lot of clearing on myself. I go to many different courses. I have other healers working with me. I can't tell you how many angles I've hit that have to do with me mirroring my father.
Yeah.
In all these different ways. And just when I think I've got them all cleared, another one comes up, which is just a slightly different angle on it. It's like, all right, now let's get rid of all of this stuff, right? I love my father, but I've taken on things that I don't need to repeat it. But, it's like, well, I'm not going to say how, it comes from like another time.
Right. Yeah. We all got that from our parents for sure.
Another lifetime. I'm not just this
lifetime. Right. I mean, it's like.
That can run very deep. Yeah.
So my feeling, I've done a lot of this type of work, and my feeling is you got to get simpler with it. Right. And sometimes going through all the depth of this lifetimes is like, screw that. No, I'm just going to be happy now. And I'm willing to allow whatever's still within me. And just a simple prayer, the Buddha and the Christ and everyone has said the same thing. Look within. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to not looking out to anyone else right now. I know who I am. I know that God or whatever. Am I echoing with everybody? Yeah. Let me try to do this.
Nope.
I don't hear Nico.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Anyway, my point being, when I address, I'm like, you know what, God? Whatever's still hiding, I'm willing to look at it. It's like, bring it on up. I've been through the worst. I couldn't go through much worse than what I've already been through. So it's like, I'm not afraid to look at fear. Come on, bring it on up. Bring it on, whatever it is, less than, whatever. And guess what? It's coming up. It's showing up in an easy way. And I said, I'm willing to look at it in a very simple way here. I don't need to be terrorized from now to kingdom come to look at something simple.
I have to interject again.
Please do.
Because there is a lot of turmoil coming up in things I can see around me within different family members, myself. And I was meditating and I was reminded of this humongous shift that's going on with the planet itself. Like the whole frequency of everything is rising. And, as you know, it can be hard going through that to get to that place where it's all good.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff is coming up now for that reason, because it's universal, the shift that is going on.
Yeah.
And so you're just seeing how it's showing up individually for yourself.
Right. I forgot how important, someone reminded me that a simple, that whole solar eclipse thing that went on is a big energetic shift, and to forget that there's other things going on outside of you that would affect you. So thank you, Linda, for bringing that.
Well, look at the stuff going on in the world.
Yeah.
So much
Yeah.
Okay. Deborah?
Yeah, and I guess one of the things I had, I was meeting with an Ayurvedic coach yesterday, and one of the things that we kind of brought up is that all of this shift and all of this exploration into consciousness that I'm doing right now is part of creating my ability to serve.
Yes.
So, that's all tied in because, I was like, I need to be perfect. I need to have it all together. I need to have all the knowledge. And she said, no, your exploration and your making the shift within your life is what's going to help those people you need to help.
Yes.
So I'm having to remember that because my tendency is to be less than and to feel like I'm not good enough or don't have the tools to fulfill my mission.
Yes. Thank you. And I want to talk about levels of consciousness. And Cheryl, you may be new to this, but I study levels of consciousness, and there's been scientific research on measuring levels of consciousness. So pride and perfectionism is 175 on the map of consciousness, which is a lower frequency. You have to be at 200 or above to manifest what you want and have a lovely, happy life. And pride and victimization and martyrdom can be very subtle, and I've noticed it in myself. You can be a very subtle victim, yet it's victimhood nonetheless, because you don't believe that you have the power to be who you want to be.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those concepts for sure.
Okay, so perfectionism, when you find yourself being a perfectionist, you're in a frequency that's saying you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And Deborah, I'm just repeating you, Deborah, but I want you to know that energetically it's a low frequency, it pulls you down. And when you're striving to be a perfectionist, it's going to pull you down into anger because you're not getting anywhere.
It's exactly how I'm feeling.
Okay? So anything below 200 is downward pulling, and I'm really talking this out loud for myself now because I work a lot in perfectionism and I don't get what I want because there's no energy there to help me get where I want. So it brings me down into anger. So now I'm going down the toilet.
Yep.
Because I'm trying to be a perfectionist.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Deborah, you went to Chopra Institute to get certified. Not many people in the world do that. You know a lot. You know enough. And maybe this online group's going to help you realize that. Right? Even though they're not maybe your ideal clients at the moment, you're teaching something new to everyone that's showing up for sure.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Can I add something for Deborah? Because
Yes.
Another thing that we all need to be aware of, and probably we are, is that the people that come to us are just a few steps behind us. We're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. And then when you do your groups, Deborah, go in there, like meditate 2 seconds, a couple of minutes before you start, and be that little kid with that energy and pretend you know it all, and like bring that to your group. Just be in it.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And willingness and acceptance are higher vibes, much higher, way higher, very powerful. To be willing, accepting, and having fun. There's a ton of power in that. And when you start doing the math, you're like, oh my God, it's way more fruitful for me to be having fun energetically, right? Where pride's 175, that's 10 to the 175th power. Willingness and acceptance are in the 300s. That's 10 to the 300 power. That's a quantum leap from pride, energetically. Mm-hmm. It's a quantum leap closer to truth, which is love, energetically. Huge, okay? Mm-hmm. So You surrender pride. You're like, oh my God, I'm trying to be perfect. That ain't getting me nowhere. This is what I do. I'm just talking what I do. I'm like, I'm totally being vain and proud right now, but I think being neutral, willing, or accepting and loving, that works. And you can feel the whole energy of it move and you become lighter and it's fun.
Right.
Okay. This is effective manifestation tools. Knowing this, for me, knowing the math of it, here's the truth of the matter, here's the science. I got to get the hell out of pride right now. Anger is no good, but if you got it, the anger needs to be expressed too. So when it comes up, you're like thankful, like, all right, here it is. And you don't have to attach yourself to it or think it means anything. It's just, I'm realizing, oh, okay, I just need to let the energy of this out. Here it comes. It lasted, I've been keeping a chart on the fridge now. Where am I in the vortex? 85% today, 95% today. And then one day it was 25% because I was angry and everything was coming up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be with this. I'm going to let it be. I'm going to let it come out. And then when I realized it was just like deflating this tire that was about to burst, I'm like, oh, that's all it is. Let the energy of that come up and out. And then I felt lighter and it was gone. And I just had to allow it to be. And remember, it doesn't mean anything.
You know what? Can I add another example?
No, Linda, you.
I feel like I'm talking a lot today.
I want you to talk a lot. You got a lot to add.
So my sister's going through, cancer, so battling it with it. And she's probably getting some not so good news today. So my mother called, well, let's hope not, but
yeah,
it could be. So my mother calls me up yesterday and she's like, so down there. And I'm like, you know what is that going to do to help her? So I tried to explain to her, we could hold this energy of doom and gloom and misery and sad and all that, but that will never in any way support my sister. No. So I'm like, I choose to see her healthy. I choose to hold my energy high and to send her that energy. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can do that too. I'm like, how does it serve you? She's like, no, I know, and she gets it, but she's having a little trouble making that little flip. But really, we can flip the switch on any emotion. We have that power. So bringing the awareness to it like you were doing, let it be, and then you're like, okay, good. I can stay with it or I can go the other way. I did a video on this. I can go this way on the fence or I can go that way. Which way do I choose?
Right.
I have the power to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I do have to keep reminding myself that I asked for this. I asked for awareness to come to me of what's holding me back. And it comes to me and I'm feeling despair and hopeless and angry. And I'm like, cool. I don't make it. And I'm so trained, and all of us are trained to immediately put meaning to it. And the meaning I immediately go to is that this is never going to end. That's the first meaning I go. I'm like, okay, no. This is going to end. I've asked for it to come up. I'm willing to stay with it. And if I need just to feel it and have the emotion come out, then there's a payoff on the other end. And every time it's the same thing. And Hawkins said the same thing, the guy that I studied, Dr. David Hawkins. He realized every single time it comes to an end. It's temporary.
Nothing
it doesn't
ever
mean anything. So
that's energy. Energy never stays the same.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we move on to other questions?
I have a simple question.
Please.
All right. Do you have, or do you know of a source of, a simple guide to building an online course? Just like a simple plug in the thing with your stuff, kind of a.
There's websites that put it all together for you. And they just host your online course.
No, I mean like the actual content, like
That's
a
what
good.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
The content. Yeah.
Well, it's got to be my content. So.
It's like one of them's called Udemy, Udemy.
Oh, I know that.
And the other one is, if you Google how to create an online course, these guys will show up. Kana, have you done that yet?
They're similar to a lot of platforms, similar to Udemy. Everything costs some money. So you can start with a free version. Thinkific, Teachable.
Teachable, that's what I was thinking of.
Kajabi, very expensive. But I think Thinkific and Teachable have a free version, or you can build your own website.
Yeah.
And Udemy takes a lot of part of your income, yet they do all the marketing. So Udemy, using Udemy, you can get your names out, but it may take percentage out, and then they do also seasonal bargains a lot. But there are framework that you can use it. So many people start from the Udemy, get your name out, and then start Thinkific or Kajabi or different, Ruzuku, another one, RUZUKU, or maybe RO, Rozuku or Ruzuku. But if you start searching Udemy, all of them will start popping up. I think.
All the competitors.
But let me be clear. I don't mean like to promote it to get it out there in front of people. I mean the step-by-step, how to put your stuff into a format that people can follow.
Yes, they do that.
Okay.
And then they act as affiliate partners for you, and they'll take a percentage of your sales if they do the marketing.
Because like that Udemy, or however you say that, their courses are like $10 and $15.
Right.
Not all of them.
Okay.
There's all different price points.
There are 100 and they have some upper limit, but because they have 90% off or something time to time, like every 3 months or something, you end up seeing $10.
But you also have more volume going through it, so that's why the price is lower.
Yeah. So there's also a plugin that I use to build that. It's called Wishlist. It's a WordPress plugin. It's a little involved. So you can do it on your own website for sure. These other platforms are helping you market, and I like that they're doing that. But you're going to pay a cut of it, which is what many successful online programs are. They're all affiliate related. They have affiliates selling their classes, like the Shift Network, right? You guys have taken a look at some of those? I'm promoting some of the Shift Network events as an affiliate partner. And the Shift Network has like 500,000 people that they follow. They've built this company sharing this type of valuable content. That's kind of a longer vision of mine, is for you guys to develop courses that become a part of the Mind, Body, Spirit Network. And I do the same thing. I could absolutely host it all on one platform through the plugin that I would use and promote it through that platform just to leverage exposure. Because marketing is always that's the big nugget you gotta face. How are you gonna market it?
For me, I find the harder part is to take all the things I know and formulate them in a way that is teachable through an online course.
So do you want classes on how to develop a course? Is that what you're looking for?
I just like looking for a format. I mean, I've taken some online course things before, but they just never were a real fit. I want something simple.
Yeah.
That kind of says, have these elements in place, make this little framework or cheat sheet, and did it. I don't know, something like that.
Anybody else hearing some background noise, like banging?
Yeah, I do.
All right. I didn't know if it was just me.
I don't hear it.
I think that was somebody just thumping their hand or whatever.
Yeah, it sounds a little thumpy.
Yeah.
All right, so there's many ways to go about, I think what you're asking, Linda, is how to develop an effective course. What are the key steps to a successful course, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you Google that, you will find courses on that.
Okay.
And I would assume Udemy and all those platforms have that because they want you to succeed. Connie, do you know anything about that?
Many platforms, all of them provide some like a 30 days challenge to create your own course or something like that. But also one way is to have this kind of Zoom. Oops, what happened?
Well, we heard you hear you louder, which is good.
Did I freeze for a moment?
No.
You're back. I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Another way is to start a small class like this, and then get your client's feedback, and you immediately know what's their pain point and what keeping them awake in the night. And then you can create very simple course like 4 weeks, 8 weeks. I think it's a good start. I think many people get discouraged because they spend hours and hours, months and months to create the course and then cannot market it. But if you do have this kind of small course, you immediately hear their needs, and then they will get to know you. And then most likely when you create the course, people will not buy from the strangers. If they know you from like this, and then you are accessible, it's much more likely they will buy, even a small course, a big course, either way. And I think successful online course creators, they do a lot of free giving as well. Like this is such giving act on this side.
Right.
We get so much from it. So we get to know the teacher, right? And then we get the respect and trust.
Yeah. Connor makes an excellent point. I would not recommend any of you dive into creating a course, building it out, blah, 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 without doing something like this as a platform, a starter. What do you call it? Test it out. Test it out and wing it, right? Outline the course, do it live, have a workshop. You know, this is probably what I'll do with you guys. All right. I want to develop a branding course. I don't want to go. It's a lot of freaking work to do. And then find out you didn't get any feedback from anybody because it's all in your head here. You know, this is Miss, you know, I'm driven. I'm going to make this course. And I muscle through it and I do it and I launch it. And I'm like, nobody knows me. That's a big problem. People don't know you. It's a problem.
You know what you just said was my key to everything right now was
What's
the
that?
wing. Because I'm good at winging it. I can just talk and teach and blah, blah, blah. But it was this thing of thinking I need to have some sort of a format or a plan. And I think I roll better without a format or a plan. So, yeah, wing it.
How about a loose format or plan? There is evidence that a plan and goal setting is highly effective. You know, completely wing it, have some type of plan.
Well, I mean, I just surveyed my whole list and I'm getting feedback as to what they would like to know more about. So I'm going to build
I think,
around
you know,
those.
Deborah, you're building visibility right now for sure. I am as well. And I would not dive into any course unless you've taught a course a lot and you've had a lot of feedback and you know what the hell you're doing. All right. And all of us are kind of new to this. So I wouldn't recommend, and I like that kind of chimed in here, start a group online. It can be paid. It doesn't have to be paid. It can be whatever you want, and figure out what the heck people want and how you're going to help them. And, you know, I like it as a way to leverage your long-term, you know, business for sure. All right. We got 8 minutes. Any other questions? Cheryl, do you have any questions? This isn't all about, we went a little stray here off the usual marketing topics, but it's important stray because that's the foundation of everything that we want is that higher vibe.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, and that's kind of where I'm struggling because I feel like I'm on the cusp. I know what I'm really pretty focused on what I want to do. I've done market research and know that it would be a good thing, but I'm feeling like not knowing how to connect with that next other side.
What's the next other side?
Well, from going from where I'm at now, which is not highly successful financially, to knowing that and meditating on the fact and knowing that this next project that I want to do is within me to do. And it's been a culmination of all my life's experiences and knowledge base and things like that, and a great way for me to communicate with people and serve people. I feel like I know that this online work is important. for sure. But it's pretty foreign to me. And I'm trying to embrace it, and yet there is something there that's not letting me embrace it. So, I know I need a MailChimp, and I've tried even doing that, and it got all discombobulated and never worked.
Marie, now, do you not feel so alone, Marie and Deborah and Connor? Everyone here has issues with MailChimp, Cheryl.
Okay.
Not alone.
So, and I've dreamed of this whole tea room thing and what it could be. And I know that, again, doing work in the community and doing this market research, that it would be very valuable and very well received.
Nice.
So I'm just, when do I make the leap? How do I make the leap? I mean, I'm putting together a new business plan with more financials and things to go for funding.
Yeah.
That is excruciatingly scary to me. But I don't know
for funding.
Do it. I have to do it. There's no other way. I don't have, a nest egg of money. I don't, I can borrow some from my parents, although I hate to go down that road. But I know what it's gonna, financially take, and but I know that it would also work. And I'm just like, ow!
Okay, woman, how about that? Have you heard of something like Kickstarter?
I have heard of that, and someone recommended that to me.
And then you get your community. You get your community involved, and then you'll really see how much people want what you have to offer in your community.
Okay.
It's like if someone did a Kickstarter campaign because there's no bookstores in town anymore, right?
Right.
You find out, I don't want bookstores to disappear.
Right. I love books.
Right. So that is a way to get started and to get over that fear of asking for money.
Okay.
And seeing if you want to do it in your community, then you'll get community support, and you'll talk to your local newspapers about it, and they're going to help support you in that effort. And then running Facebook campaigns locally, it's a pretty easy project to do.
And what do you mean a Facebook campaign? Like to come out and ask for money on Facebook? I mean, that seems a little, I don't know.
You can. Kickstarter connects you. You're telling a story about what you want to create.
Okay.
You're creating something for a community that could be a lot of fun.
Okay.
A place to meet and learn something new, and just get over the asking for money part.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's a thing.
Come into willingness to accept the possibility that you have a lot to offer by doing this for your community.
Yeah, I do, and I'm also, one of the main things about doing this is the service. I mean, what I would get would be transmuted into the more I could serve.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so I look at that like the more success. It's not. I take myself out of it, and I'm more about, God, if I could just do this, how I could serve so many more people.
Right.
And that's what it's really about for me. That's where I get the drive, the passion, the energy, and not in a financial way. And I have to look at it financial. And I think that's where it's like coming into my head and bombarding myself.
Yeah.
It
takes practice. I learned what was in my way from my sister, and it came from like when I was young. It has to do with disappointment.
Yeah.
So disappointment, if you find yourself being disappointed, try to recognize it and look at the silver lining. What, like I could take Deborah, my example is doing this meetup group. And I've been very happy with the results of it. But sometimes I'm not happy with the results of it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm happy that I have this group of beautiful people to see every week. That serves me. nicely. And I assume it serves everyone that shows up every week as well, because they keep showing up. I'm like, that's a good sign.
Mm.
And you've got to shift the energy of disappointment and look at it differently. Like, okay, this is where gratitude comes in. Even though it's only my friends showing up, my friends are still showing up. And they're still my friends.
Mhm.
I have friends. And then when people get to know me, I'm going to have more friends. And that has been true. I have way more friends now than I did at the beginning of the year, that's for sure. And I love them all. There's no one that I don't love that I haven't, it's just a matter of fact. Cheryl, now you're one of them, honey. You're on the list.
All right.
All right. So it's that you've got to pay attention to those lower feelings that are coming in because they're just old.
Yeah.
And a powerful place to start is in neutral. Like, be neutral about your disappointment. Like, okay, I'm not going to be disappointed. This is just, have compassion that you're human and you don't know any better yet.
Okay.
You're getting there.
So in terms of the Facebook, just write a story briefly.
Totally, a story with a video. Yeah.
With a video.
Yep. But you have to share it. You got to pay to get that shared, but it'd be easy to get that shared because you're going to focus on your community. You don't have to go broad. Or you can start off without paying for it at all and let the community share it itself.
Yeah, I don't mind paying a little bit. I've done that before.
Okay, but start for free and let's see if it can go viral. Can tell the story of what you want to create and how you need the help. Video is very important in that.
So when you say video, would you suggest me going to, like, I have the place, I already looked at it, the space.
Yeah.
Going there and like videoing myself in front of it and saying, this is where it would be. Wouldn't it be awesome if we could all come here and hang out and enjoy each other's company over tea and learn about herbs and be, creating our own community and all of that and do something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get really clear on what you want to say.
Okay.
Spend time getting clear on the language, the results-driven facts. What are you going to deliver? Be focused on that and how you speak that.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. I got to wrap it up. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. I'm happy to stay and answer any other questions, but I do have to call it quits usually, Cheryl, we end this at 10:15 or do our best.
Oh, okay.
If there's any other questions, however, I'm happy to stay if Anna or Marie. Yeah, Marie.
I have a stupid question. When I plug in my portable mic,
yeah,
what do I do to make it work? Because I wasn't working.
There is some drivers. You got to make sure the drivers are installed for it sometimes. Usually your computer should just recognize it though.
Yeah, it says that.
Let me see it.
And
can you hear me now?
no.
Okay.
Well, you have to tell Zoom that you're using that mic. So if you go mouse over the bottom of your window, Marie, near your microphone, there's an arrow to the right of the mic. Click on the arrow and it should say select a microphone. Which one? Is it selecting the one you bought? Or is it selecting one from your internal computer? I can't hear you at all. But yours should be microphone AT2020 if it's the same as mine. I can't hear you though. You're not even, I can't even hear you anymore. But that's where you select it when you're in Zoom, and I've had this problem before. And you want to select it before you get started, and you can test it. In fact, if you leave Zoom and come back in, Marie, there'll be a green button that'll say test the mic, and you can test it. And then it should be set up for good. So if you want to do that, I'll stay online for you to do that.
Can I test mine too?
Yours sounds good.
Well, no, I haven't plugged it in because when I plug my speaker in,
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Well, then you got to test. You got to select a speaker too.
Huh?
Over on the microphone, to the right is that arrow. There's a select a speaker and there's a select a microphone. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So you should be able to make sure, I don't know what your options are, that both have to be selected and both can be tested as well, Deborah. If you leave,
Okay.
okay?
I'm going to get out and then come back in.
Okay, so press the green button when you come back in and then test it. You test the mics and the speakers first, and they have a little thing you can do that with.
Okay.
All right.
You can't hear me now, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, you hear me?
Yeah?
So it's plugged in and it works. So I had to plug it in before I came on.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so that maybe it just has to, be plugged in before you turn it on. Right.
Much
Okay.
better.
So talk, Marie.
Okay, you can hear me?
Much better.
Okay.
So
All
much
right.
better. Yeah,
So I will plug it in before I start then. Okay.
that sounds good. All right. I'm going to stop this recording and then we can keep talking. Hold on one